have 3 passports. This is my passport from the United States, the country I was born in. This is my British passport, the country I've lived for the last few decades. And this is my German passport.
Edward applied for German citizenship after Britain voted to leave the European Union in June 2016.
Brexit came as pretty much a surprise to me, and I was, I have to admit, quite shocked to see that it managed to win. And I was even more surprised and shocked to see that the British government was unwilling to stand up to what seemed to me, and still seems to me, an insane idea of leaving the European Union.
Appalled by the prospect of Brexit, Edward turned to the country of his ancestors, Germany. According to Article 116 of the German Constitution, any citizen or their descendants deprived of their nationality by the Nazi regime has the right to claim a German passport. Edward's grandparents, Hedwig and Rudolf Stahl, were secular Jews and deeply patriotic. But in 1937, after the introduction of the anti-Semitic Nuremberg laws, they decided to leave Germany with their daughter Hannah.
I qualify for a German passport because my mother was a refugee from the Nazi government in Germany. And then, of course, after Brexit, well, one wants to have an EU nationality if one can, because the British seem to be cutting themselves off from Europe.
Since the 1st of July 2016, nearly 2,000 UK citizens have come here to the German embassy in London to apply. That's in contrast to the 25 applications the embassy received on average every year before the Brexit vote. But for Britain's Jews, this homecoming isn't an easy one. In the late 1930s, between 50 and 70,000 Jews fled to Britain to escape Nazi Germany. The Jewish Refugee Association was created to defend their interests. Today it has 2,000 members and works with the German embassy. Its mission? To distribute reparations to the descendants of Germany's persecuted Jews, to return looted property, and to help those who want a German passport.
The principal thing you have to show and prove is that you have a connection to somebody who had German citizenship. For some people there would be documents like their exit visas or the passport they came with a red J for Jews stamped in it. For other people they have to go on a journey to find out this information. And sometimes that might be going back to Germany.
The process entails a number of administrative obstacles and an often complicated emotional journey.
I think the younger generations who perhaps have already travelled more, they have less of a negative connotation with the country. The older ones, the first generation, had that experience, and for some of them it's very difficult for them to understand why anybody would wish to claim the citizenship of a country that persecuted them or their families.
Before the outbreak of war in 1939, thousands of Jewish children fled to Britain from Germany and Austria on the trains of the Kindertransport. Among these children, a 16-year-old boy arrived alone, Werner Floschheim. After the war, he became a British citizen and started a family. His grandson calls him Opa, grandfather in German.
So this is a photo of my Opa from when he was working as an accountant. Then here's a photo of Opa with me and both my 2 brothers when we were little, with me sitting there in the corner.
Jake feels European, but he's decided against claiming German nationality. The wounds of Nazi persecution are still too fresh.
I've considered the idea, but I've decided not to go ahead with it. I think I would feel guilty and like I made a mistake if I tried to exploit the situation for my personal gain.
Jake travelled to the apartment in Frankfurt where his grandfather lived before the war. In front lie 3 commemorative stones, 2 for the parents of Jake's grandfather and 1 for his grandfather's brother, all deported in 1941.
So I went and kind of looked at the house and kind of sat there for a while. I wasn't necessarily always going to dislike or have anything against Germany, but it was always going to be a place which kind of allowed my family to be killed, and ultimately the Germans at the time did kind of murder my family, and I think that was kind of a bit of a crystallizing moment.
6 million Jews were systematically murdered across Europe during the Second World War. For some, that history means that Germany is ill-placed to offer refuge for the Jewish community. For others, German citizenship is a welcome riposte to Brexit, a chance to embrace Europe and its humanist ideals.
This is always the story with Jews wandering around the world, but there is a long story in my family of coming to Germany, of leaving Germany, and now, in my own little way, of coming back to Germany, coming back to Europe, coming back to the culture that my great-grandfather adopted as his own, and I have now adopted as my own.